Now, I would like to introduce Jenny Scott, who is our speaker today. She's been part of the Women of Flexo since its inception, um, and she's also the Vice President of Global Creative Services at Berry Global and has been with Berry for over 34 years. She's also on the FTA Board of Directors and has been very involved in FTA functions, such as she chaired the FTA forums. She's spoken at many of the FTA functions around the country, as well as she was asked to represent the FTA at the Flexible Packaging and Label Manufacturers Association. She was also the 2015 recipient of the FTA President's Leadership Award. She's very passionate about process improvement opportunities in many areas, specifically in the different printing arenas inside Berry. Jenny?
Great. Thanks, Kara, for the introduction. Welcome, everybody. Just like to preface this presentation by saying that I am not an expert on upskilling. However, I did some research on different websites to get my content. So feel free to reach out and check them out if you'd like to learn for more information. Okay, so while doing this research, I did come across a couple of terms that seem similar, in fact, but are different. So upskilling versus reskilling. So upskilling basically helps employees to get better at what they already do. So it kind of enhancing your current skills, it boosts your job performance, and usually upskilling is led by the employee themselves. Reskilling actually refers to the process of acquiring new skills or updating existing skills to adapt to changes in the job market or industry. So like learning new skills for a different role inside your company. And usually these are led by the employer as well. Both are very important for talent development, but most importantly, it helps employees stay engaged. But today we're going to focus on upskilling in the workplace. So as we start off the new year and somewhat reset our goals, I felt this would be a great topic to review today. Reports show that 82% of employees would need to upskill annually to maintain a competitive advantage. But upskilling is learning new things to make yourself better in your current job or future job, whether you're trying to qualify for a higher paying position, filling the gap and meeting particular business needs, boosting the ability to carry out your current role, and also meeting ever-changing trends in the industry. So some benefits of upskilling. Employees feel very valued. Investing in employees is important to them as well as to the company. Retaining employees, if they keep learning and aren't stagnant, they will stay longer. Upskilling empowers them as they learn new things or different ways to do their tasks. And another benefit is that it becomes a win-win for both the employee and the company, saving time and resources to replace them if they left. So why is upskilling so vital? Recent studies shows that of the organizations that implement upskilling, 65% of potential workers look at this as very important when they are considering a job. I thought that was very interesting. 71% of the workers say there is increased job satisfaction when they can learn new things. And 61% of the workers say that improving their skills is an important reason to stay at their current job. So not only is it important for existing employees to improve their skills, potential employees look at this as a requirement, as a consideration for a new job. So how to implement upskilling? The first thing to do is to understand your current skill sets. So most of us have taken different types of personality assessments, whether it's a Myers-Briggs, a DISC, True Colors, but how can you capitalize on your strengths with your current job or your future job? But also, what about your weaknesses? How can you develop a plan to better your skills to improve in these areas as well? One way is to work with your supervisor or manager during your annual appraisal. They have a vested interest in you and your career. But along with reviewing your annual appraisal, work with them to develop your learning plan. What is your roadmap to success? Refer to your goals monthly and possibly set up a one-to-one meeting with your manager or supervisor to review how you're doing. If you don't feel comfortable reviewing with your boss, maybe get with HR or an ally inside the company or a friend. But as I will refer to a few times in this presentation, get with someone that will give it to you straight. Be true to yourself and ask for constructive feedback or areas you can work on, not just what you want to hear. So where do you want to go? Why do you want to upskill? So once you determine what you want to do or where you want to go, what skills do you need to get there? Another thing to consider, is the position established, or do you feel it is a position that has not been established yet? Regardless, try to plan ahead as much as possible and work with your manager on the plan as mentioned in the previous slide. Most importantly, you must align to your department or your company goals. Is the position you're looking at or wanting to develop something your company needs, and is it in line with the goals your company has? A learning and development plan. The LDP involves the continuous educational processes of learning new working methods and concepts, improving skills, and gaining more knowledge about one's duties within the company. Make sure what you want to learn or need to learn is relevant, up to date, and aligned with the industry trends. Be a little innovative, but also make sure to discuss it with your manager to make sure you're on the right track as well. But having a supportive environment to learn and grow is also very important. So I Googled up some top skills for women to learn, and some of these include personal skills, but also others are for business as well. But I think in some way they all do work and tie together very well. So one area is financial skills. Learning the basics of math is essential no matter what position you're in. This will help you with all the financial skills you need to create a household budget, live within your means, manage your credit, and do your own taxes possibly. Master the art and science behind investing and building your own wealth. Safety skills. The reality is that as women, we need to be extra vigilant about safety. That means knowing how to avoid compromising situations, walking with an air of self-assurance, and defending yourself against a possible attacker. Survival skills. Everyone should learn how to get through an emergency, create a fire escape plan, and know what to do in the event of environmental disaster. Goal setting skills. They're mandatory in the business world and in life. Be able to identify priorities and tactical plans to make things happen. Time management skills. Being a mom, a partner, a friend, a sister, a daughter, not to mention employee or business owner or household manager, requires multitasking and prioritization skills, or else you're not going to be able to make it. Communication. There are two aspects to communicating well. The first one's listening. The second one is effectively conveying the message you intend to communicate. And emotional intelligence. To be emotionally intelligent is to be able to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, and to be in tune with others' emotions and act with compassion. This is critical, especially when you're under stress. So some more top skills for women: change management skills. When you really don't know what's ahead, building resilience can smooth out the bumps and make the journey a lot more pleasant. Learn to cope and bounce back from difficulties, large and small, to look for positive in every situation and adapt continuously. Knowing and trusting yourself. Explore what's important to you, your values, your wants and needs, your standards and boundaries, and your passions, hopes, and dreams. When you build confidence and trust in yourself, you can finally lead an authentic life. I thought that was very interesting to hear that, but also to say it as well too, because I think a lot of times when we try to put ourselves in certain situations, it's not who we truly are. But if you start realizing who you are, knowing and trusting yourself, you can finally lead an authentic life. Relationship building. People need to feel connected now more than ever. Learn how to get vulnerable, create trust, show your appreciation, be thoughtful, give and take, and create something sustainable. Socializing skills. Introduce yourself with confidence at an interview or at a dinner party or at a business conference. Make a great first impression, but most important, demonstrate your interest in the other person. This also goes with online communication, especially more importantly, I feel. Self-promoting skills. Whether you're building your resume, speaking up at work, or asking for a raise, do not be one of the millions of women who are unable to ask for what they deserve in relationships or in a job. Problem-solving skills. Critical thinking will get you to the best solution. Brainstorm your options, anticipate consequences, and plan for contingencies. Resourcefulness and delegating skills. Unless you want to be continuously frazzled, learn how to tap into other people to get what you need. Learn where you can get help and don't try to solve it all yourself. This is also a great way to empower others to grow as well. And be open to taking criticism about yourself. Get with an ally, a friend, a close coworker and ask, is there a way I can improve how I do my job? And then be open to listening to them as well. And finally, letting go. Women need to learn to let go of perfectionism, need for approval, and attachment to outcomes. Letting go also means learning to forgive yourself and others. So different ways to upskill. One way would be to take a course. Local universities and colleges offer a lot of business courses, but you can also might check with your company to see if they'll pay for it. If it pertains to your job, they might just do that. Or study an online video. I know our company has an online university we can tap into that includes PowerPoints, videos, etc., for improving your skills. Read a book. There's a lot of good empowering books out there, but you can also check out the Women of Flexo website, where the Leadership Development Committee has put some recommendations out there for some good reading. Watch a demonstration. YouTube is huge for this, right? So we all know you can fix just about anything by watching a YouTube video. Or you can get a mentor, maybe join a small group, hire a life coach, or buddy up with a friend, or just do it. Learning by trial and error is a great life lesson that will stay with you. So as you work on your plan to upskill yourself, just remember, stay calm and press on. But be careful how you approach this and try to put some methodology to it as well. Prioritize and organize. Don't try to eat the elephant at one time. You need to take one bite at a time. I've seen many projects where all the balls are in the air and nothing was accomplished. They couldn't see the steps to get it done. All they could see is a huge project, but didn't know how to break it down into smaller projects. For some people, this is a strong skill. And for others, they just keep spinning their wheels. So take a deep breath and work with someone to help you with this if it's not one of your strong skills. But also get support. Phone a friend or an ally. Don't be afraid to ask for help or guidance. Be willing to compromise. There are a lot of battles to fight and battles to agree, to disagree, and sometimes battles just to walk away from. Some things to think about when you get into these compromising situations. Don't always try to be right. Keep your emotions in check so you can listen to all sides. Let things go. You don't always have to be right. Rethink your expectations. There's always two sides to every story. It's best to stay calm and be willing to change. If there's one thing that is constant, it is change. And keep an open mind as well. And recognize when you're stressed and do something about it. Ask for help, take a walk, get a massage, whatever works for you. Don't try to control things that are beyond your control. This goes right along with learning how to compromise. Two very difficult things to do. It doesn't always have to be your way or no way. Someone might actually have a better way of doing something. So be open-minded. Change your mindset. And again, you might just learn something new. And one of the most important things is take time for self-care. This is the most important of all, I feel, but you have to take care of yourself. So for personal growth, one thing to do is check your attitude. In fact, maybe have a friend check your attitude. Do you have a positive outlook on life, or is the glass only half empty instead of half full? Your productivity. Are you giving your job 100+%, or are you just doing enough to expect to get a big promotion? Since the pandemic, with a lot of people working remote or hybrid, it's important now more than ever to be able to prove yourself. So make sure you show your work. Your work ethic, it goes with the above as well, but asking to learn new things or maybe jumping on a team that at work to improve a process gets noticed. And then how you treat others. Treating others with respect is always key as well. It's not good to move ahead by trampling on others. And how do you see others? How do you view others? Do you know them well enough to know how their personality tests scored them? If not, maybe have a discussion with them about it. It might just help you to realize their strengths and not assume something about them that isn't. I think that's important as well too, because a lot of times we might judge people by what we see, but we might not understand their underlying strengths that they have based on their assessments. So for professional growth, like the saying to the right says, don't wait for things to happen. Sometimes you have to make them happen. If I sat around and waited for my previous boss to guide me or give me the training I needed, I would still probably not be in the position I'm in. But you are in control of your own destiny, so make sure to prioritize you. Ask for support. I have a friend at another company, and we continually bounce ideas off each other all the time. But even within your company, find an ally that can help guide you if you aren't getting the support you need. Find a mentor. I mentioned many times before, but find someone who is at a higher level than you are to mentor you. Always mentor up. I would also like to mention, be respectful of your mentor's time as well. Don't get a mentor just to complain about your current job, but have a goal or a position or a problem in mind, and then seek their advice on how to get there or make it better. And whoever you find, inside or outside of your company, always ask for feedback. Feedback on how you can improve, what you have done that has worked, what might need more fine tuning, etc. Sometimes what we think we do and how it is perceived is sometimes way off course, myself included. So one final slide, and this includes some free resources. If your company does not have an online university or online training courses, feel free to reach out to these different these resources here, or Google a specific topic or subject that you want to learn more about. But I hope you enjoyed this presentation. But one final thought again, don't forget, women like you don't happen often. Never forget how rare you are. Everyone is unique in their own way, and I encourage you to find your strengths and capitalize on them to help you to continue to look for ways to upskill and get to the next level. With that, I'd like to open up for any questions or comments. Again, you can put your comments or questions in the Q&A section below. Kara, Emily?
That was great, Jenny.
Is there any questions came through? Nope.
No, I don't see any questions yet.
All right.
Yeah, while we wait for some questions, I was just going, oh, I can turn my camera on. Oh, I was going to try to turn my camera on. There we go. I was just going to make a comment on, you gave this presentation at the last Women of Flexo conference, and I had some takeaways from it. And I was just going to make a comment while we wait for maybe any questions to come through. But one thing that stood out to me was, I think whenever I think upskilling, I think, maybe you have to pay for special training or schooling or something like that. But I like how your presentation gets into, your other ways, or ways that you can develop yourself. So whether it's anything from using free resources, podcasts, books, connecting with other people in the industry. I think that these are things that sometimes are overlooked, or you don't think about or consider as ways to upskill, but they are. And so, I know those are things that I've started to kind of look into for myself. And so, anyway, I was just gonna make a comment on that. And also my experience too, I feel like I've had some opportunities to upskill through some like industry associations. FTA, has a lot of resources. Women of Flexo, as you mentioned, we have on our website, we have some resources. Sometimes these associations also have they have trainings, and sometimes they have grants and scholarships for not only students, but people that are in the industry. So if you are interested in, trainings that, you might have to apply for or take money, maybe you could speak to your company and look into resources that, you can find through associations like that. So that was just gonna be my little comment I wanted to add in.
I appreciate that. That's a great point to make as well too. And it's interesting. One thing that I didn't mention enough, and I probably should have mentioned throughout the whole presentation, is that the hardest part, and in fact, reflecting back on this presentation, the hardest part is making time to do this, right? Our days get so filled up with stuff. If you don't schedule it, it's probably not going to happen. So I would definitely challenge you that if you are wanting to upskill, learn more new tasks, new skill sets, whatever, take time, whether it's a half an hour during your lunch or something, but block it out. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And so I've got to take a dose of my own medicine and start doing that for myself as well too.
Same here. We don't have a question, but a comment, really. Somebody said, I think it's important to take on opportunities, even if you are not necessarily comfortable with it. Say yes, and then learn how to do it. And I think that is so true. A lot of upskilling is going to take you out of your comfort zone. And I mean, that's really the only way to do it, is to step out of your comfort zone and do new things, and trial and error, like you said, Jenny. Fail and until you succeed.
Yep. Learn along the way.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. We were just talking before this about how my role is kind of different with my current company than it was at a previous company. And I've learned so much about marketing that's not my background. And there's so much to it. And doing some of this work for a year, the things I've learned, and now this coming year, I can come in with so many more new skills and knowledge that I feel like I can bring to my company now. And, so yeah, I agree with that. Just so yes, learning new things.
Yep.
I think we
Yep.
got another comment, Kara.
Yes, we did get a question. If you could choose one thing, area, or method to recommend for someone to focus on in starting to upskill, what would you choose and why?
Well, it's hard not knowing what they do, but I think, well, one of my passions that I love learning about is continuous improvement. I mean, I think with any job, you can look for different ways to improve, right? Whether it's a better way to put your message out through marketing, or it's a better way to improve a process or something as well too. So, in fact, we were fortunate. Over the years, we were able to put some of our employees through Six Sigma, and me being in creative services, why would I want to go through Six Sigma? But I wanted to learn more about it, and I loved it, loved everything about it, and realized that that's really one of my passions, is understanding how to improve processes and stuff as well too. Whether it's at work, at home, whatever, planning my day out or whatever. I use it all the time, which is awesome. So, continuous improvement is something you definitely can't go wrong with.
Yeah, and I think it's understanding what improvements you feel that you need or want to make. That's kind of will lead you in the direction. Like I know for me, I've kind of wanted to like if I have an interest in maybe learning more on the technical side, and so resources like FTA First is something I've been looking into. And again, some of these things cost money, and you can work with your companies, or again, I look for a lot of mine through these associations that I have available. But anyway, that's like, I think it's just about understanding for you what you feel you could use improvement in, and or what you want to improve in is a good
Yeah,
start.
and I mentioned a couple times too, talk to your manager.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they want to see you go? Where do they see you at now? How are you going to get there? That's going to be key as well too. So hopefully you've got a good relationship with your manager, supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
If not, maybe talk to HR and get their thoughts as well too. So again, depends on the size of your company. Some companies are bigger, some smaller. You might be wearing different hats. I don't know. And you might maybe
Yeah.
move over to reskilling depending on what they need you to do. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's a good comment in relation to that question that somebody just sent in. I think if you set your goals and prioritize what is the most important for you, then you can better figure out where to start in terms of upskilling.
Yeah.
yep, definitely. All right. Are we good?
I think so. I don't see any other questions.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining today.